As the days passed, Hilton spent the remainder of his time in Mount Komorebi. The day had finally come, and the team descended upon their excursion. They encountered numerous challenges along the way. Michelle fell ill with the flu and was unable to join. However, Hilton was determined to reach the top. You see, their high-profile person they were sent to rescue was the influential Vincent Lewis, mayor of San Myshuno. The team encountered their first checkpoint, a walk in the park for them compared to the training cliff they had been practicing on. However, it became clear to Hilton that Sarah was struggling during their expedition, and without Michelle there, he would have no choice but to be at the end of the climb to ensure that he could help her. As the team journeyed on, they reached their second cliff, no bigger in size than the cliff they had spent the past few weeks practicing on. However, as they started to reach the top, the weather turned into a thunderstorm blizzard. This drew the team off, as they had checked the weather conditions beforehand, and some of the team started to grow weary on how the rest of the expedition would go. With much less experience than Hilton, Alan and Keith would need to rest before continuing on. Hilton, feeling under the weather and luckily prepared, was able to take some over-the-counter medicine to combat the flu. It's possible that he may have caught this from Michelle before leaving. Continuing on from the second checkpoint, and with the weather turning on the team, they were in a rush to find shelter for the evening to ride out the storm. As they closed in on the third cliff, and possibly their most challenging of the journey, they were able to start a fire to stay warm and prepare for the next cliff. It was a moment to finally reflect on how far they had come and appreciate all the hard work that it took to get to this point. They were so close to the third checkpoint and just a few climbs away from reaching their target in their search and rescue mission. As the team started their climb, with the weather and darkness working against them, it was unclear what was to come, even for Hilton. Hilton felt a strong presence the closer to the top he got. Out of desperation and consideration for Alan and Keith, He opted to have Sarah and him sleep in the cave while they took the tent. This was a big turning point for Hilton, as his experience with caves left more questions than answers over the years. But he knew this was something that he had to do in order to ensure that the team would persevere onward. As the team prepared for their third and final checkpoint, the Mount Komorebi spirits made themselves known to Hilton. And as they tried once again to warn him, Hilton had no choice but to push on. As he had a mission to complete, he had to rescue the mayor of San Myshuno. However, no one was prepared for who they would find at the peak of Mount Komorebi.
Bahana waxwin zakini rosta. Farby taxi watsu. Pato. Pate. Fine spino. Yeftame kissing. Zombie new.
When the team made it to the top of the peak, they found only but a letter left from the mayor, Vincent Lewis, mayor of San Myshuno, was taken by some thieves of the jungle. While traveling back to El Salvadorada, the plane crashed on the peak of Mount Komorebi. Unfortunately, the team took too long to respond, and the mayor eventually made his way down the mountain. He left a note advising that the team was to report to El Salvadorada to hunt for the thieves and acquire any monumental treasure during their search so that it could be returned to the San Myshuno Museum. However, with the loss of Sarah, the team would need to report back to Strangerville. They would only have a day or two to gather their supplies for their next deployment, and a memorial would be held in Sarah's honor. And Hilton knew just the place she needed to be.
Dairish. Klosnoi Quexel. Ospa Rinshu. Barumas, Flumasay, Neba Quinoi. Phil Boxe,
Bizarre.
Kumarusa, Chibi Warga Dastabu.
Oh.
Alan, Keith, and Hilton were deployed following the memorial of Sarah to El Salvadorada. Feeling like they had failed their first search and rescue mission in Mount Komorebi, they were determined to redeem themselves. They had a lot to prove, and they had to get it right this time. After settling into their base, they headed straight to Puerto Yamante Marketplace to gather some additional supplies. Once they had enough supplies, they got a first look at the statue of Madre Cosecha, who would help cure Hilton later in the mission. The team then ventured off into the jungle, where their supplies would come in quite handy. From machetes to waterfalls in a bottle, the team was now fortunate they could continue on. It wasn't long before they entered into their first temple, and to their surprise, they found more skeletons than thieves. It was a game of escape for the troops once Hilton ended up getting the curse of the pancake mirage. Over the next few years, the team would explore the jungle, increasing their knowledge until finally they were deployed home. Once home, Hilton was given the news that his sister Goldie needed him to go home to Chestnut Ridge as soon as possible. When Hilton arrived in Chestnut Ridge, Goldie revealed to him that a lady had come by claiming that she had given birth to his child and that she was the actress that he met years ago. With this information, Hilton immediately headed to Grand's talent agency in Del Sol Valley. Once in Del Sol Valley, he met with Estelle Lenord. She had told him that it had been years since she had seen Frida. She recommended that he speak to Goldie Ruthfield, the CEO of Grand's, to see if she would give Hilton Samara's address given the circumstances, as it would be best if he reached out to her best friend Samara Stone. Hilton was given the address of Samara and headed there. He was now on a new search mission, to find the woman he had met one night years ago. After awkwardly meeting Samara and having a long conversation, Samara explained that her and Frida had a falling out not long after she moved to San Myshuno. She explained that Frida and her spent a couple years looking for him and how it really took a toll on her. Samara told Hilton that she often told Samara that she had to stay in Strangerville, almost as if she was being forced to stay there by a greater force. After Samara told Hilton it was finally nice and long overdue to meet him, she gave him the last known address of Frida, and Hilton was sent searching once again. When Hilton arrived in San Myshuno, he was overwhelmed with emotion and the unknown. After taking some time to reflect on how this new information would change his life, he made what was hopefully meant to be the end of his search. After reuniting, Hilton asked to meet his child. Frida explained to him that after she had left Chestnut Ridge and came home, their daughter started asking a lot of questions about him and who he was. And after a heartbreaking conversation, she ran away. Frida told Hilton that she thinks she has gone to Strangerville to look for him, and that she has been back and forth between San Myshuno and Strangerville looking for her. Hilton knew that his search was not over, and that he would have to recruit some friends as he started a new search and rescue mission, only this time for his daughter. There was no stopping for Hilton. He had to find his daughter, who was probably scared and lost. How is it that she could be roaming right under his nose? Hilton confided in Edwin, and to his surprise, had seen her. He claimed that some people in a black suit took her to the lab that was forbidden to anyone without a badge. To make sure that Edwin wasn't pulling a fast one on Hilton, they took him with them as collateral. The team endlessly searched for a way in, rummaging through papers and files. After turning up nothing through a very long night, Hilton had an idea. He would blackmail one of the lab employees. But first, he had to plant a bug on them in order to have enough intel to confront them with. It took a couple of days, but Hilton finally had what he needed, and the team returned to the lab to unlock the door. The lower the team ventured into the lab, the weirder things got. They had no idea that the lab was housing some sort of alien plant. It was at this point during their search that Hilton knew it would be too much of a risk to have the team continue further without any sort of PPE. Through the idea of Keith, they started collecting spores from the strange plant, using a scanner that they found. With enough spores, they venture back into the basement to start testing it, in the hopes that they can create some sort of immunity in order to travel deeper. Hilton stumbled across a hazmat suit, and without the rest of the team's knowledge, traveled deep into the unknown. Hilton was shocked at what he would find, and knew that he had to create some sort of vaccine. After testing it on a few infected local residents, he was able to provide Keith, Alan, and Kevin with some immunity. Together, the team was able to defeat the alien mother plant. Unfortunately, Hilton was not expecting to see his daughter motionless at the bottom. The people of Strangerville deemed Hilton a hero of the town, but with the loss of his daughter, he felt that he was anything but a hero. After a long talk with Alan, he explained that he would have to deliver the news to Frida in San Myshuno, and that he didn't know what he would do after. He had only just discovered that he was a father and barely knew her, and with no commitments to this other life, was very unsure what his next move would be. When Hilton broke the news to Frida, he explained that he had no other obligations to stay in San Myshuno and would be leaving the next day. Frida broke the news to Hilton that he actually had a son as well. With a lot of questions, Hilton interrogated Frida, and she explained that when she was given the news, she acted out of panic and fear, that she didn't know what to do, and that she made a rash decision to drop him at her parents' house in Windenburg. She explained that she had not told anyone, and has not spoken to her family since she moved to Del Sol Valley, and that with Hilton in the picture, he would have a strong role model to look up to. With this new information, it appears that both Hilton and Frida were on yet again another search and rescue. For the son, they did not know.